Hi, on this episode of What I Heard This Week, I got to walk around with Jeremy Evans, the director of the Dream Center in Evansville, and he got to tell me some stories about the work that they are doing in Jacobsville and some of the great impact they are having. So check it out. This is what I heard.
So I'm driving down North Main Street, and I see a mom panhandling on the corner, and I recognize her. So I pull off and I say, "What are you doing here? Why don't you call your wraparound care specialist?" And she says, "Oh, I've talked to them too much this week. I don't want to bother them anymore." And I said, "No, there's no such thing as that. Go home and call your wraparound care specialist. But before you go, tell me what's going on here." And she said, "Well, my son has a football game in Newburgh tonight, and I don't have a car, so I have to Uber everywhere I go. And we have no money, and I couldn't pick up an extra shift at work today, so this is the only thing I could think of to do. And by the way, I've been here for an hour and a half and haven't gotten anything." I said, "All right, go home, call Britt, her wraparound care coordinator, and we'll get this sorted out." So she walks into the Dream Center that afternoon, and she's kind of got her shoulders slumped and her head hung low because she's feeling ashamed of having a need. Britt comes bouncing out to her and is like, "Let's walk down to the gas station and get a soda." So they walk down to the gas station to get a soda, and about half an hour later, they come in, and they're laughing together. And I say to her person, "What did you do?" And she says, "We brainstormed ways that she could solve her problem, and one of the things she came up with was to text the other parents on the team and see if any of them could give her a ride. And come to find out, one of the other parents is sick and can't take her kid, so she's going to bring her car over and drop it off, and our mom's going to take both kids to the football game. If you're standing on that street corner with her and you're anything like me, all you want to do is fish a $20 bill out of your wallet and hand it to her and say, 'I got to solve this problem for you.' That's not as good as her solving her own problem.
Right.
Because now she knows what to do the next time she has this problem.
She's made a whole bunch of friends.
She made a whole bunch of friends, and she's back to level. All right, she's back to base level. She got her need met.
She's part of the support network for that other person.
That's true. That's true.
She's not needing a support network.
That's
she
right.
is a support network.
So, and you'll like this, Dan. We actually measure families' independence level. We have a scale that we got out of Fort Wayne that has 10 buckets, okay? There are things like housing, income, social supports, education, healthcare, childcare, all that stuff. And we can give them a score from 1 to 5. 1 is in crisis, 2 is at risk, 3 is safe, 4 is stable, and 5 is thriving. And our goal is to push everybody towards thriving, okay? So now, if you were to think about those buckets that I described to you, and I told you that if you could move one of those buckets, it would move all the rest of the buckets the most. Can you guess what it would be?
Tell me the buckets again.
Education, healthcare, childcare, social supports, housing, income,
Social supports.
employment. You're right. Right on the money. If you move social supports, all the rest move on their own.
Wow.
So we're trying to build a community, right? Another wraparound care story, and then we'll sit down and talk about whatever you want to talk about. Kids, 2 of the original JKZ 8 are struggling in school, and school calls us and says, "We need some help. We don't know what's going on with these kids." And we said, "Okay, what's going on, or what are you doing to try to fix it?" And they said, "Well, we're doing behavior modification and grades, they're tutoring, like those are the kinds of things we're doing, but we're not seeing them impact." Because we'll go meet with the family and see if we can figure out what's going on. So we're sitting across from Mom just like this, and we said, "Mom, why are the kids struggling?" And she says, "I don't know. Just the last couple of weeks they've been really struggling." And I said, "Okay, that's interesting. What's that scratching sound I hear above us?" And she goes, "Oh, those are the raccoons that live in our attic. They moved in a couple of weeks ago, and we can't get the landlord to do anything about it." So we called the landlord, we said the words 14 News, and guess what?
The raccoons
got
are
pulled out of
gone.
their attic, and they stabilized. It's this iterative process over and over again. What do you need? All right, let's help you get it. What do
You
you need?
can't
All right, let's
sleep
help
all
you get it.
night because there's raccoons making racket.
Tutor that kid until they die. Until you remove the nocturnal animal from their sleeping environment, they're going to
Right.
go to school every day, and what are they going to do?
Fall
They're going to
asleep.
fail.
Yeah.
So let's go sit down.
Gosh. When people in my neighborhood, when people die, they don't want to publish an obituary and they don't want to make it known because they're trying to keep hidden from this family member or that family member, or keep these people from knowing that there's a will up for grabs, or now grandma's house is open, so
Someone can move
Joe
in.
Schmo, who's looking for a place to live, can now move in because grandma's gone. So, like, the whole social supports thing, it's like, okay, if you don't trust any of your family because it's all dysfunctional, who do you grieve with that
Yeah.
grandma died? They don't have people.
So the hardest family we've ever dealt with at the Dream Center. Mom is a single mom. She has 5 kids by 5 different dads. She, hey Braden. She,
Hey.
that's Lori's son. She is on disability. She, we come to find out that she's been partying at night, and the 12-year-old is being required to get everybody up and ready for school every day. And when we approached her about it, she said, well, that's because when I was 12, I had to get the kids ready. And now that I have some independence, I want to go party. And we got to say, but is that what you want your kid to do when your grandkids are around? So anyway, why was I telling you this story? Oh, yeah. At one point in her story, she was couch surfing with a friend. And then we were able to get her into Carpenter Court Apartments, which is right across the street from Delaware. And because she had gotten helped by someone else when she was unhoused, she felt the responsibility to help that person when they became unhoused, and that person brought a gun into her apartment and she got evicted. Social supports.
Yep.